Hello and welcome everyone back to another movie review of mine, and today we're looking at the 24th installment in the James Bond franchise, and this is the fourth and the last era, or the last movie, of the Daniel Craig era of James Bond. And in this movie, SPECTRE, James Bond is on a personal quest and leads him to Mexico and Rome, that basically, in essence, brings a bit of a finality and a real finesse and pressure to this movie, because it's going to live in the shadows of Casino Royale and Skyfall. And granted, okay, quickly summarize what I think of the other ones of Daniel Craig. Casino Royale, one of my favorites. I love that movie a lot. It's one of my favorite movies of the 2000s, one of my favorites of all time. Love that movie a lot. Quantum of Solace, not a terrible movie, man. It's not awful, but it's not good. But it's not good enough to be a James Bond movie. And Skyfall is probably my favorite James Bond movie of all time. I love that movie a lot. It's superb in my opinion. I love it. And yeah, it's basically, this movie has a really, really tall glass to fill, essentially, from what we've seen before. And in this movie, of course, you have we essentially have we also have all returning casts from the other movies, such as Naomi Harris as Eva Moneypenny. We have Ray Fiennes as M, Ben Winshaw as Q. We also have some returning, and we also have some new casts in this movie, such as Monica Bellucci, Andrew Scott, Leah Seydoux, and Christoph Waltz as the main villain. And in this movie, I love. Here's what I loved about this movie. Number one was the direction, the tone, and the angle they're going for. It's much more grounded, it's much more interesting, much more futile, it's much more engaging read as James Bond's character. It's really interesting that we go into it and how we really explore his background, who his parents kind of were and how they were killed, because that's not really a big secret, really. Aside from that, he comes across some other characters in this movie, like the two girls in this movie that he comes across. The first girl, played by Monica Bellucci, he comes across her first. She kind of just comes and goes, and then there's another love interest he comes across with played by Leah Seydoux as Madeleine Swan. And the first love he comes across, I thought was fine. She was good. But the second girl he comes across, I thought she was absolutely excellent. She was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And also the set pieces, the way it was shot, the cinematography, Roger Deakins was excellent. Sam Mendes is a brilliant director. It just really leaves off the screen and makes you realize this is a larger-than-life finale type of movie that really ends an era. It's essentially the Battle of the Five Armies or Return of the King of James Bond movies. It's wrapping up an era. So we want this to be very, very smart and airtight and very, very well written. And it is. It shows it's well written everywhere. Christoph Waltz, let's start with him. The acting is just excellent. Daniel Craig is great as James Bond. He brings a cold, dark chilliness to the role. He brings this stone cold assassin edge to him instead of being more suave like Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery. I really love this angle of him. He's so dark and dangerous and so unpredictable. And the first shot in this movie is just excellent. It's just one huge long take in the beginning of Mexico of the Day of the Dead setting. It's excellent. I love that. It was brilliant. And also the way it's just meshed together as a whole. It feels really, really cool. It just feels big and grand, and really adds so much finality to the franchise, and I love it for that. The set pieces, the action scenes are phenomenal. The chase, there's in the beginning in Mexico, there's a fight scene in a helicopter that's brilliantly choreographed. There's a fight on a train with Dave Bautista. That was excellent. There's a race scene with Dave Bautista before that in Rome, I believe. Yes, that was Rome. That was also excellent, which kind of reminded me of the first Taken. I don't know why. That was really, really great in my opinion. There's a big chase in like the Alps or somewhere in northern Europe. I thought that was phenomenal. Although a bit over the top with him using the plane at times. I'm just like, okay, didn't burn off on that. But I just love that. Christoph Waltz. Let's essentially just talk about the villain of Christoph Waltz. A lot of people say he's wasted. He's just wasted in the movie. I say no. People say they want more of him. Well, okay. Well, if we got more of him, well, what would we got from that? The scenes in, they add to the character, they add to the story, and they add to him. If you just put him in other scenes, it wouldn't feel right. There's certain moments in storytelling where the villain needs to come into play, where he should and shouldn't be in. So, in a storytelling perspective, what people are getting upset about is bullshit. Seriously, shut up. It's like, you're complaining about a villain being under... Is it granted? Christoph Waltz, he's an exceptional actor. I loved him in Django Unchained and then Glorious Bastards. He was excellent in those movies. Just people say they just wasted him. He wasn't, over the top villain. I'm like, really? Which actually there's something else, is that this is a great movie that blends both the grounded, smart realism feel that these modern movies have, but also the fun, kick butt, lay back feel of the old 60s and 70s Roger Moore and Sean Connery era of James Bond, which I think is great. It has like a mesh of the best of the both worlds. Like the villain and the set pieces and the storytelling and plot points feels like a great nod to the original. People are complaining about it. I think that's ridiculous. We get the best of both worlds. We get the smart, intelligent, brooding, modern Bond, but also the fun, cool, kick butt, and laid back feel of the originals. It's just the best of both worlds that they put together, and it's like, and while it may not be as excellent as Skyfall, while it may not be surpass what we had before, it still holds great ground in my opinion of what we have here. It feels great. It just feels so grounded and even though it's weird for me to say it feels grounded in real at times, even though there's some moments I'm just like, we've gone to turn our brains off. This is almost reaching Fast and Furious 7 level of ridiculous, which is a bit of a stress really, but it's still really, really fun to watch. And just Dave Bautista is just excellent. I loved him. He was very much a big physical person who James Bond had to get into those really big, huge fights with. I love those. Those were excellent. They're brilliantly choreographed, especially the one on the train. Just really, really well done in my opinion. It just seems like a great wrap up for the franchise. Not of the franchise, but the era of a franchise. Like, this is the last Daniel Craig one, which is still upset to me. But in the end, I love this movie. There's some moments that may seem a bit too far-fetched, and some people may have problems with the storytelling, where I would say it just adds to the original what we had. But in the end, it's just like fun and kick-ass James Bond that I know and love today. As a huge fan of James Bond, and as a huge fan of action stories, and as someone who wants this era of Daniel Craig James Bond wrapped up in well, to me at least, I couldn't ask for a better movie. Is it perfect as Casino Royale or Skyfall or Dr. No? Of course not. But in the end, it's still great for what it is. And people are saying it's the worst James Bond in a while. I highly disagree with that. I think Quantum of Solace is just not a good James Bond movie. Quantum of Solace is way worse than you realize. Rewatch it. Just rewatch it, okay? I rewatched it recently. It's just not that good, to be honest. But in the end, I am very, very happy and satisfied for one of the most anticipated movies of the whole year, in my opinion. And this movie just exceeded my expectations, and it just, I love it for it. It may not be perfect, but for what it does, in my opinion, is phenomenal for its own right. In the end, I'm going to give Spectre a 90%. Thank you. Thank you everyone for watching as always, and stick around for tomorrow when I will upload. I'll give you my review of the most recent adaptation of William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Tomorrow, that will be uploaded. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for another review. As always, thank you. Remain strong as always, and I'll see you then.